Demigods and mortal viewers, welcome back to our Percy Jackson and the Olympians breakdown series on Disney Plus. I'm your guide through the mythic feast, that fake ranch. And today, we're savoring the delectable delights of episode 5. Episode 5 takes us an unexpected turn as Percy and the gang cross paths with the fiery and unpredictable Ares. But hold on to your cheeseburgers because this encounter is about to become an epic feast for the senses. We open the episode immediately after Percy's conversation with the Nereid. It is also worth noting that it is in his POV, the same with the books. We see the vast differences between the distance between the arc and the river, which we mentioned in the previous breakdown of the actual distance of the two.
They're looking at us.
They both agree with this, but Grover is pertaining to the police officers, probably eyewitnesses, and even FBI investigators finding out the events at the Ark, while Annabeth is referring to the three fates. The three fates, or the Moirai, were the three sisters Clotho, the spinner, is the one in the yellow tracksuit. The cases, the allotter is one in the green tracksuit, and Atropos, the inevitable, a metaphor for death, is one holding the scissors and in a pink tracksuit. It is hilarious that they are wearing Crocs matching their tracksuit. They also resemble somewhat the Powerpuff Girls for me. In the book, Percy sees them early after Alecto attacks him. Annabeth sees Atropos cut a yarn signaling that someone will die. They realized that they were referring to two different things. Grover is referring to the police, a callback to chapter 14 of the book, I Become a Known Fugitive. Well, that happens.
Okay, just one problem with this plan. The police think that we crashed an Amtrak train and then did that.
The cops are after us?
Yeah.
Isn't that gonna make it hard for us to get on a train? Or a bus? Or really anything you need tickets for?
We see Percy come out of water looking wet. Percy doesn't get wet in the source material unless he wants to. My guess is this is a power he will get later on. We see a fully healed Percy embraced by a worried Annabeth. Grover, as the third wheel, breaks the hug.
So, you're not as dead as we thought you'd be.
Surprise.
Percy mentioned his off screen conversation with the water nymph, and they are bound for Santa Monica Beach when they reach Los Angeles, California. As per the instructions, Percy is going to meet his dad, the god of the seas, after the latter decides to help the former in the previous episode. While hitchhiking, the trio encountered Ares, the god of war, riding his motorcycle, donning his black leather jacket and sunglasses. Ares, along with the other Olympian gods, are tasked to find Zeus's master bolt. The god of war offered them help and asked them to meet at a diner nearby.
That's my cousin? What kind of family is this?
Come to think of it, Ares is Percy's cousin, since Ares is Zeus and Hera's child and Percy is Poseidon's son. That makes them first cousins. This sums up the whole episode. We're going to learn what kind of family the gods have. We cut to the Wheels Diner where Ares is waiting for the trio. The source material is different from what happened in the book. Ares arrives at the diner where Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are trying to buy food, while the former shocked everyone in the diner with his presence. The diner in this episode is located in Canada, where the most of the scenes were shot. I found a Will's Diner in Colorado, but it looks different from what was shown to us. It is hilarious that the God of War is starting a fight on Twitter. I loved how they incorporated a modern update to the God of War, and for now, the God of online debates. Ares showed a news video of Gabe giving an interview vouching for Percy's behavior as a troubled kid.
Percy was always troubled, but I never thought he was capable of something like this.
Ares discussed a part of Greek mythology that is crucial if they are planning for future seasons.
See, years before I was born, my grandpa Kronos ate my aunts and uncles. Yeah. Then my dad made him puke them back up, then chopped him into a million pieces and chucked him into a bottomless pit. So that kind of set the tone right out of the gate.
Cronus's chop up body currently resides in the bottomless pit at the darkest and deepest part of the underworld, Tartarus. Ares explains this as the reasoning behind the backstabbing nature of the gods, insisting that their deceitful nature has always been part of their family. Ares tells Percy that their fathers are going to war regardless of whether the Master Bolt is found. In order to further the quest of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, Ares offers them help in return for a favor. Ares tasks them to retrieve a shield in an amusement park nearby and use Grover as a collateral.
One catch. I really do need that shield back. So I'm going to keep the satyr here as collateral so you don't run off.
What? No.
Okay.
This gives a better characterization of Grover now that he didn't hesitate, and later we'll see more of it. This is another departure from the book since Grover is with them when they visit Waterland. We visit the Waterland, an abandoned amusement park in Denver, Colorado. Percy pointed out a horror movie trope.
I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, but this seems like exactly the kind of place they suggest to avoid.
Then Annabeth mentioned that she had never seen a movie before. This is probably because of her backstory mentioned in the previous episode, as well as her long stay in Camp Half Blood with no connection to the outside world. Right off the bat, we were treated with an Easter egg. On their way to the amusement park, Percy encountered a contraption made out of celestial bronze.
Give me a second. In the mechanism there. That's celestial bronze. Oh.
Celestial bronze is a rare metal used to create magical objects and weapons used by gods and demigods in the Percy Jackson universe, such as Percy's Riptide, Annabeth's knife, and even Suze's Master Bolt. Items made with celestial bronze do not affect ordinary humans, only impacting gods, demigods, and monsters. Annabeth deduced that this contraption was made of the god of forges, fire, technology, craftsmen, sculptures, volcanoes, and blacksmiths, Hephaestus. We got to the scene of Ares and Grover talking about their prior meeting at the winter solstice 6 months before the events in this episode. Winter solstice is a significant event for the Greek gods. Ares forgot about their previous meeting, likely due to the chaos that occurred during that night when this Master Bolt was stolen from Zeus. The Percy Jackson books didn't mention satyr protests during this event, but given the events of that night, it makes sense that Ares would forget the details. Grover mentions about the turbot war, a fishing dispute between Canada and Spain, the lobster war, another dispute over spiny lobsters that occurred from 1961 to 1963 between Brazil and France, the 335 Years' War, which was an alleged state of war between the Netherlands and the Isle of Scilly, located off the southwest coast of Great Britain, and its existence is disputed. It is said to have been extended by the lack of peace treaty for 335 years without single shot being fired, which makes it one of the world's longest war and a bloodless war. After their conversation, I like the smirk Grover made towards Ares, knowing the former captured the interest of the latter. We caught the eerie look of Waterland. This made them wonder why the god of war was lurking around this place.
If it belongs to the god of craftsmen, what was the god of war doing here? Aren't they enemies? And why'd he split without his shield?
If I'm guessing, Ares has always had a thing with.
Aphrodite. She's Hephaestus' wife. Oh, you're kidding. He met her here? In her husband's park? That's so wrong.
They got caught, and he had to leave in a hurry. One thing Ares was telling the truth about, this family is a mess.
Percy and Annabeth entered the infamous Tunnel of Love, Thrill Ride of Love. In the book, the trio was treated with lots of booby traps and contraptions created by the god of craftsmen, such as Cupid statues firing actual arrows, mechanical spiders, which Annabeth is deathly afraid of as a daughter of Athena, and multiple mirrors, which Percy comments in the books that Aphrodite and Ares can have a good look in multiple angles. In the show, we hear the song What is Love by Hathaway.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
What is happening right now?
Although the song is an upbeat dance track, the lyrics are rather gut-wrenching as Hathaway sings about trying to love a girl who won't love him back. The story of Hephaestus and Aphrodite, as well as his mother Hera, is quite the same in the song. We were treated with an animation of the story of Hephaestus from being born until the betrayal of his wife. This is similar to how Harry Potter included the tale of the three brothers. In Greek mythology, Hephaestus was rejected by Hera from birth due to his deformity. Long story short, he's ugly. They are perfect. Another scene is the betrayal of his wife, Aphrodite, and his brother, Ares. This made Percy realize the reason why his mother kept on telling him these awful stories of the gods' betrayals. After the animation, we had a 45-degree plunges into the ride. When they saw Ares' shield in one of the rooms, they decided to get off the boat, swim their way through it. However, the current is so strong that Percy has to use his powers to grab Annabeth. We see a golden chair with peacock feathers. According to Greek mythology, the peacock was a sacred bird to Hera. Likewise, Hephaestus exacts revenge against Hera for rejecting him by making her a magical golden throne, which she sat on it, did not allow her to stand up again. On the other hand, we see a statue of Aphrodite with some similarities to Sandro Botticelli's Birth of Venus painting, where she was standing on a shell. In the show, the statue was holding Ares' shield. They tried to figure out how to get the shield. We got again to Grover and Ares in the diner. We see how Grover's cunningness gets information about the Master Vault. We cut again to the Tunnel of Love. We see a debate forming on who would sacrifice their lives to further their quest. We hear the iconic epithet of Percy.
This isn't the arch seaweed brain.
In the source material, she said this in Camp Half-Blood. However, the show adds more flavor to it. So I respect the decision to reveal it now rather than earlier. We hear a callback from episode 3 explaining the reasons of Percy on why he chose Annabeth in this quest. In a tear-jerking exchange, Percy gave Riptide to Annabeth and requested the latter to rescue the former's mother in the underworld. Their relationship is getting more and more deeper as the season progresses. Moreover, our heroes, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, are becoming similar to their book counterparts. Oh, I forgot to mention the various paintings around the room, which include lots of mythological creatures such as centaurs, satyrs, serpents, and other beings. Percy was engulfed by a golden liquid once he sat down on the golden chair. Annabeth becomes emotional. In White Shot, we can see some dragonflies. In literature, they tend to symbolize transformation and self realization. Rather than picking up the shield, Annabeth finds a way to release Percy from that contraption until an unexpected cameo from Hephaestus, played by Timothy Amundson, shows up. Hephaestus is depicted as an outcast among the gods, being the only Olympian with severe physical impairments. Amundsen shares some of the character's disabilities in real life after he suffered a stroke in 2017 that resulted in paralysis in his arm, hand, and left leg. This relates to Rick Riordan's aim for representation, which includes the message that anyone can be a hero, and what sets one apart from everybody else is something to be celebrated. With Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths, fire, and technology, his skills outshines his disabilities, showing how they don't prevent him from practicing his abilities and expertise. His appearance in this episode is precocious as he is set to debut in the third book, The Titan's Curse. Episode 5's portrayal of him as sympathetic also rewrites the cynical depiction the books includes, where he sets up traps to humiliate Ares and Aphrodite for their affair by broadcasting it to Olympus via Hephaestus TV. In doing so, Hephaestus's compassion indicates his fragility, thus highlighting how, despite being a god, he can be humanized and break the negative patterns of his fellow gods. Hephaestus, equating himself with the demigods, proves his importance to the quest as he frees Percy from his throne. Annabeth and Percy return to the diner, successfully retrieving Ares's shield. Ares fulfills his promise to arrange for the three a free ride to Los Angeles, but it will be stopping at Lotus Casino, another setting that we will see in the next episode. The truck is owned by Kindness International, an illegal animal smuggling business. Ares gave them a bag containing,
Here. Clothes, cash, drachmas to summon Hermes.
in the book, Ares gave Percy a backpack with $20, a pouch of golden drachmas, free clothes for the three of them, and a box of double stuffed Oreos. In the end, Grover revealed,
I know who stole the Master Ball.
leaving Percy and Annabeth, the viewers, and even book readers with what he found out. That concludes our breakdown of episode 5, A God Buys Us Cheeseburgers. If you relished the divine feast, the amusement park antics, and some unexpected encounters, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Stay tuned for more demigod delights. Until next time, may your cheeseburgers be divinely seasoned and your adventures mythically thrilling. Bye bye.